Starliner crew, Butch and Sunny, did some manual station keeping, as well as helped do a hot fire test for some of the RCS jets that were automatically taken out of the set for use. Currently, 2 of the 4 that had been preemptively turned off are now turned back on. They saw good data from them from the hot fire test. There's a lot of chatter on the back loops from Mission Control and the engineers. They're currently discussing a few more of them. Since the hot fire test, Butch and Sunny moved slightly closer to in the approach corridor.
I don't know. Probably under the bed.
All is preparing for.
I don't think he went outside.
Next phase, once they finish the analysis of the RCS jet data.
I tell you, can't make it up. So they're having issues. They've been having issues with Starliner. I guarantee there's a lot of worried people in there right now. Let me go find out where the dog is, because Mom keeps asking for Tycho. So I'll be right back. As Mom
Starliner Houston
the
on the big loop. See you in the hold box. If you can just station keep there, 200 to 210.
Yeah, I'll be right back. Let's just see where this dog is, because it's Tycho.
If you're just joining us, we are covering the first flight test of astronauts to the International Space Station aboard Boeing's Starliner spacecraft. This is NASA's Boeing crew flight test. The crew lifted off yesterday at 9:52 a.m. Central Time and is currently about 200 meters away from the International Space Station and holding. They do not currently have the go to enter the keep-out sphere and proceed with the docking process, as they are troubleshooting some reaction control system thrusters that failed on the service module.
That's good. Not. Oh, that must have been nice, Kevin.
Aboard the Starliner spacecraft are NASA astronauts Butch Wilmore as commander and Sunny Williams as pilot. They are currently manually piloting the spacecraft at that approximate 200-meter hold point.
Manually? What happened to auto docking? Not working? What's going on? Not a nice day today. It's going to probably thunder later. Thunderstorms.
Re-enabled B1A3, talking about our next approach. Just give us a few minutes.
You know, it's funny, when people were here, I didn't even drink. Hardly at all. One night, I was out there with Jade. That was the one that I drank. I don't remember what night that was. It's the night Ronald drank too. I think it was Thursday night. And I had 4. But Ronald had 2.
And flight control teams here in Houston have re-enabled the B1A3S service module RCS jet. Which and Sunny still station keeping Starliner, hovering between 200 and 210 meters out in front of the approach corridor for the Node 2 forward Harmony Node docking port.
A little more info about these RCS thrusters. These are reaction control system thrusters. There are 28 of them, and they are located on the service module. That's the lower portion, essentially, when you look at Starliner. The service module does not return to Earth. Also on the service module are 20 OMAC thrusters. That stands for Orbital Maneuvering and Attitude Control. OMAC thrusters are used for larger burns. Meanwhile, the RCS thrusters, what we are currently troubleshooting, these are used closer to the International Space Station. They allow us to make more fine-tuned changes to the spacecraft's trajectory.
Oh, lovely. So the thing that they need most to get close and approach thrusters are malfunctioning. So how the heck they're going to get this in? It was Thursday? That ain't good news. Now, I got good news this morning. My blood results are already in. And urine. Better than I expected. Just put it that way. My blood, my cholesterol, triglycerides, all normal now. I'm going to show it on the screen. We'll mute them. There's not much going on right now. I was shocked how good it was. And this is why dieting and exercise mean a lot. Oh shit, where'd it go? Let's do this. We're going to have to get this down. Unless my results. The only 2 things that still show elevated is my A1C, which it went from 6.9 to 6.1. So you can see the graph. The A1C is going down. So I'm at 6.1 right now. Last test, I was 6.9. So the current, 6.1. It's still in the red because normal's 5.5, I think. Actually, 5.7 to 6.4 is consistent with pre-diabetes. So I'm actually below, I'm right in that range, pre-diabetes. I was 11 when I was in the hospital last August. I am down to 6.1. And that is excellent. And then the other one that was elevated was this. But I was at 85, over 85 in January. And the graph is going down. I'm almost at the normal level. I'm at 73 now. 660 is normal, but let's see where I was. 90 in January. In February, when I took my last blood, before yesterday, 87. 73. What a jump. Big jumps. And that's all that came up abnormal. Those 2. That's it. I'm in the green everywhere else. But there's significant drops. Weight loss, exercise, dieting. I'm almost at normal levels for everything. And yes, green all the way down. Everything is green. Everything. So that's what I keep talking about and preaching about dieting and exercising and doing. The results are clear. And you don't think I'm happy? I went from 6.9 to 6.1 in 3 months. So that's what it's about. And I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing. Yeah, I make sure I'm in the portal for all my medical records. I want to see everything. Screw depending on a doctor for results and all that. I'm in the portal. I signed up for the portal. I get all my
So we're going to
documents.
power off the Starline camera for now. We've got to get bested.
I get all my documents.
Yeah, we're good with that.
I insist on it. Anybody that's watching should also insist on getting.
The crew is just outside that 200-meter keep-out sphere from the International Space Station. And Butch Wilmore continues to manually pilot the spacecraft.
Israel has gone this far to try to eliminate the threat of Hamas. They need to go all the way. You don't stop now. My heart goes out.
Starliner Houston, we'd like to get back at some level of automation for the hold. So we'd like to take a destination B, retreat 200 meters, then trans auto and point auto. And we're just sit tight here for a minute.
Oh, shit. They're probably going to try an auto docking.
Okay, you want to do that now or sit tight?
No, I'd like you to take those actions now. Destination B, Bravo, then trans auto, point auto, and then what I was saying is we'll sit tight at 200 meters while we're taking a look at the data and getting a path back in.
Oh, shit. And Gillyfest,
Okay,
addressing
we
your
covered it.
question.
We're going to go destination Bravo, retreat to 200 meters.
I'll mute that. I'm sure most of our hearts, some people are heartless, go out to the people, the innocent civilians in Gaza suffering. How can you not? But you can't, you just cannot stop now. You have to eliminate the threat. That's just my own opinion. And now it's getting really tense in northern Israel with Lebanon, with Hezbollah. So that might turn into the next big thing. So it's just horrible what's going on over there. But that's my answer to you, Gillyfest, if you're still here. So anyway, getting back to this. Report cards? Hell no. It's important to get your medical documentation. It's so important. I unmuted, so there's no sound coming. You know, by putting my name and all that, it doesn't matter, you know. What happens is I'm just not going to tolerate stupid shit like this anymore. And I gave a rope. It's done. Done. It's so ridiculous. Anyway. So this looks like to be a major issue with this docking procedure.
Starliner, yep, T2A2 failed off, still have fault tolerance fixed off control.
Copy.
They said stop spreading misinformation. What misinformation am I spreading? Some of these people are just whack jobs.
I'm not going to try to figure this out myself. Are we still
And I'm
good
not
enable
tolerating it anymore.
backup control?
I'm done tolerating. I was nice. I was trying to be nice, but now it's just too
Stand by.
much. It's trolling. Done. Trolling, you're done. So, bye-bye. Enough is enough. I can only take so much, too.
All right. Butch, with S1A1 and T2A2, both enables are degraded, so you might as well leave it enable 1. And like we talked about last night, if you have to drop the backup, you'll just have to find the right switch to get accomplish what you need to accomplish.
That's what I figured. Thanks. Got it.
If there weren't 2 astronauts on board, this would be different if it was just, but you got to get these people on that I.S.S. We got to get these astronauts on board the International Space Station. This is serious stuff what's happening right now. They need to dock. And I'm sure they're very concerned right there, every one of them. In mission control, they have to be. They're trying to figure out a way to get this to dock. So it's 600 feet from the ISS, 200 meters. It's that close, but yet so far. It's horrible.
You're
It
watching
does
live
look
coverage of
tense in the
NASA's
room.
Boeing
It does.
crew flight test to the International Space Station with NASA astronauts Butch Wilmore and Sonny Williams aboard the Starliner spacecraft. We were tracking an initial docking time of 11:15 a.m. Central Time. We will not dock during this during this current docking window. The next docking opportunity opens at 12:33 p.m. Central Time.
Holy shit!
That window closes at 1:19 p.m. Central Time. The crew is currently backing away from the 200-meter radius known as the Keep-Out Sphere at the International Space Station. They will hold at about 250 meters away. About 45 minutes ago, the teams noticed there were some reaction control system thrusters. These are on the service module of the spacecraft. 4 specifically were beginning to fail off, meaning they would need to be reactivated. The crew took manual control of the spacecraft at the 260-meter hold point and conducted some manual piloting while those 4 reaction control system thrusters were fired. With the current configuration, the teams have not currently given the go for the astronauts and the spacecraft to move inside the Keep-Out Sphere. That Keep-Out Sphere is a 200-meter invisible radius around the International Space Station, and the spacecraft must be considered 4 orbits safe, meaning it would not move into that radius within 4 orbits if it were to lose control of its thrusters.
So did she say they're not going to make an attempt till tonight? I could have sworn that's what she said. This one is, they're not going to attempt this window, that they're going to try for the next window, which is tonight. Did she say that, Kevin? Because I'm confused. I could have sworn that's what she said.
We are operating out of 2 flight control rooms here at Johnson Space Center. On the left, you see Capcom or capsule communicator Neil Nagata. He's the voice you've been hearing speaking with Butch and Sonny aboard Starliner. We're in the white flight control room. This is the Starliner flight control room. And on the right side of your screen is the International Space Station flight control room just across the hall, where teams are leading the space station and all of its systems.
She did say that, right? 12:39 p.m. Central Time? Wow, so that's 1:39 for me. Wait, no, that's afternoon. What am I saying? That's right, so that's this afternoon. So they still have another hour and 20 minutes, like, for another attempt. Thank you, Wanderer, for correcting. That's what I thought I heard later on at midnight. I'm confused. But I think Wanderer is right for the launch window. Not launch window, docking window. We just got to listen. I need to shut up. It's as simple as that. But they do look tense, and they do definitely look concerned. Yes.
What is that Alexa says something about Amazon?
I don't know. Maybe about a delivery that's coming. I don't know. What was that?
What was that?
Ma, what is that? Did someone hack Amazon?
What is that? Ooh, that's scary.
That was weird. It's like a voice is coming through Amazon, Alexa. What is that?
Listen to that.
Ma, what was that?
How the fuck you don't get out of there and find out? Because I don't know nothing about this.
Let me see if I hear it again.
Weird.
That was weird.
Like a kid's voice.
I don't know. Let me know if that happens again. That was very bizarre just now. That was weird. Wow, it's super bright, but we probably got some rain on the way. I shut the light. Why keep the light on? What? Oh my gosh, she's gonna drive me nuts, and it's too early for that. The audio is on, by the way. They're just not saying much. Oh shit, they freaking launched this morning?
Starliner and Station Houston on the Big Loop. Right now, Starliner has enough capability. We have fault tolerance of 6 off control to press in. However, we'd like to do that press in about 17.5 minutes from now. Given that, we're going to go ahead and perform another hot fire to see if we can recover the T2A2 and S1A1 jets in the intervening time. So for Starliner, once we get into insulation here and get our optical cameras back for Vesta, we're going to get back into the SM hot fire test procedure.
Starliner copies. Sunny's pulling it out. Station copies.
That call from Capcom, Neil Nagata to Butch and Sunny and Starliner. They have analyzed the data from the RCS switchers they've gotten back, the ones that have been enabled. They do have 6 off control of Starliner, which means they are currently go for a docking. They're currently planning on moving in for the next docking attempt.
Again, that next docking window opens at 12:33 p.m. Central Time. In the meantime, they are going to conduct a couple more hot fire tests to continue attempting to recover 2 of those RCS, or reaction control system thrusters.
We are reaching the end of the nighttime period for I.S.S. and Starliner. We should expect some views of both Starliner and I.S.S. from each other's cameras shortly. There is a possibility to hot fire some of the jets again during this time period. We will wait for a call from the Capcom.
Starliner for the hot fire. The plan here is we're going to hot fire 3 jets, B1A3, T2A2, S1A1. part of the reason we have to go back and take a look at B1A3 is because we had an attitude correction. We told you to do it, and it kind of muddied the rates for B1A3. So to get confidence back in it, what we're going to do here is we're going to have you go. We'll have you go to point hold and manual, right? And then we're going to sweeten up the station keeping. We're going to go to free drift, and then we're going to go ahead. I'll let you know when we start firing those jets. You'll be hands off until I tell you you're hands on. How copy?
We got hands off the 10-man hands on after we go free drift. We're ready.
Okay, and also to make things a little simpler, we're going to stay in LVLH for this one. So stand by for my next call to get us configured.
Standing by, yeah, we like LVLH. We were curious while we were in Nurse to begin with. Thank you.
Starliner will take a point hold transpulse when you get there. Stand by. Ray will give us some words to sweeten up the station keeping.
Okay, we are point hold transpose.
This view coming from the international.
Two ups. All right, Starliner, we'll take point free, hands off.
Free, hands off.
Again, this view live from the International Space Station, and you can see Starliner still at that approximate 220 to 250 meter point. The space station and Starliner are entering into an orbital daytime, currently flying 259 statute miles over French Polynesia. Of course, we've been keeping you updated with all of the Starliner updates here in the White Flight Control Room, but my teammate Gary Jordan across the hall has been keeping tabs on everything space station. We'll go to Gary.
Heard a jet fire on board.
Roger.
And this is Mission Control Houston. Of course, we're following along every step of the way with the teams over in the next flight control room following Starliner operations. Some of the views you were seeing were of the flight director, Vincent Lacourt, speaking with Ed Van Cise, flight director over in the Starliner flight control room, coordinating on entering that keep-out sphere. We've been showing you periodic views of some of the telemetry that shows that sphere. Now, of course, once we cross that boundary, we're, of course, now in integrated operations, but that boundary needs to be carefully coordinated before pressing in and make sure it has the right fault tolerance.
So this was Starship test from this morning, which is really curious because I didn't know that they were testing. That's from space.com.
outside the keep-out
Yeah,
sphere
they did a
now. Butch and
Starship
Sonny remaining in a hold
this
position.
morning. I didn't even know it was
That
happening.
go
That's
to
excellent.
proceed inwards has been given by the teams confident enough in the configuration
No,
of
they need to
Starliner
get this.
with the necessary redundancy.
Let me just stop that for a second. They need to get the testing done for Starship because that's crucial for future missions, especially to the moon and beyond. They've got to get that working. Artemis 2 and 3 depend on it. So that's why Starship, the testing is important. But now they're having a problem docking the Starliner to the I.S.S. It's in a hold pattern like 200 meters or so away from I.S.S. and they're just trying to get it to dock. So this is the one that's happening right now. Starship was this morning, but the Starliner is happening right now. I'm streaming it. So there's been a lot of issues with this. All right, Chris, I'm gonna send it to you.
Gotcha.
Hold on. Let me mute again. No, it's actually really humid here. Oh no, not that. Let's not do that. Okay, I'm starting to send the file. Oh shit, I gotta verify on the phone. Hold on. No, it's really humid out. Not.
And we're following along with these views from the
We haven't
International
had
Space Station.
nothing here yet.
Getting great views, the sun reflecting.
Starliner will take point, hold, and then point back at the target, please.
Okay, so they're gonna. I think they might try an auto dock.
Take hold, and we will point back at the target.
But I thought there was some
Good read back.
docking system, you said.
It's a problem with the thrusters on the Starliner. The most important thrusters as they get to a close approach to the I.S.S. to fine-tune
The point
actual
hold of the
docking.
Sarge being one of the features of the International Space Station. The Vesta system, which we've been talking about
Yeah,
on
everybody got it.
Starliner,
Why? Do you want me to
tracks
mute?
some of the features of the International Space
Hold on,
Station,
let me
just
mute.
making sure the pointing is right, and we do have some time to figure it out. Again, there's another about 8-minute window before the crew is given the go to press in inside the keep-out sphere. Now, there are several milestones once we press inside the keep-out sphere to enable a docking, the window of which starts at 12:33 p.m. Central Time this afternoon. But once inside the keep-out sphere, the crew is scheduled to have a 10-meter hold point. We're not pressing in straight from the current position, just outside, just about 200, a little inside 220 meters right now from the station's forward port.
If that's okay with you, and otherwise it's good.
Good with the attitude. Point free, hands off.
Attitude point free, hands are off.
Okay.
All right, so
S1A1 fired.
Jet fire.
Roger.
you have everything for tonight, right? You're ready?
Yeah, I actually, hey, also, you don't have,
Capcom Neil Magata in the Starliner flight control room.
John Bryan,
The voice you're hearing inside Starliner is Sonny Williams,
Captain to know.
confirming that when the ground teams enable the thruster firing for that hot fire test, which had been reported to the crew,
We got a pretty good yaw rate. Let me fix this.
Interesting.
Negative. We're
Send me the
we're
link.
firing
Send me the link
B1A3.
on
Stand by.
Skype.
I'm going to send you some videos that
these numbers you're hearing are the specific thrusters.
absolutely,
And we heard it.
Roger that. We're looking.
How?
it's like.
Let me mute this because this is I can't hear you and that at the same time. How long are the videos and how big are they?
They're very short videos. I mean, you got to look at the whole show if you want the whole show, which I'm going to find. But I will tell you that it is absolutely unbelievable what this guy put in. It was like, dude, this guy he's basically giving you disclosure. He's telling you why they're not putting it out. He says I've been in briefings and everything. I've seen stuff that you haven't seen. And he goes, we just can't handle this. We don't know what it is. It's not the Chinese. It's not the Russians. We all know that. He says, but we're not putting it out that way. But the thing is that we can't do anything about it. We're powerless, and we don't want people to know that.
Wow, they got an awesome view of the Starliner seeing a hold pattern from the ISS, and hopefully they have a window coming up now, and maybe they can get this thing docked. It's a major issue. They've been having some serious issues past 24 hours with this thing. So
Really?
yeah, there's 2 astronauts on board. They need to get this docked, and they need to get them safely on board.
Are those astronauts in any type of danger?
If they are, they're not alarming anyone about that. But I mean, until they're docked, they're not safe. You know what I mean? The common sense would say they need to get docked because this is an issue. So until they can securely dock and get this thing in, I mean, what happens if they can't? What do they do?
I don't know.
That's the thing. What do they do? Like, make it come in and get a retractable arm that's on the ISS to bring it in? I don't know what they would do. You know what I mean? So this is going to be interesting to see how this develops.
It's kind of scary, isn't it?
It is scary. You know, you don't have that kind of control in space.
No.
And as someone in chat said, you know, it's hard when they're both moving at 21,000 miles per hour.
Oh God, yeah, it's got to be.
Oh, I just seen thrusters ignite on it, so it looks like something's going on. Anyway, watch. I'm live, so if you want to jump in, oh yeah, thrusters are definitely igniting.
Where are you on Rumble?
I'm everywhere. Yeah.
All right, I'll probably jump to Rumble.
All right. I'll see you tonight. Yeah, this is very interesting. So I'm just gonna play the audio.
Say again, Tony.
They have not docked yet, obviously, Bobby. On the screen, you can see.
Now back in the box.
This is critical. What's up, 91? And hello to all those that are watching.
And can you guys get us in 200 to 210 meters, please?
Let's listen in. I'm going to be quiet.
200 to 210.
Starliner crew confirming from the ground they just need to push in just a little more from where they are. An extra 10 meters or so should get them inside the box, the planned hold box. Again, and they'll continue to hold there. Right now, the crew on manual flight and continue to hold there until given the go to press inside the keep-out sphere. We're just a few minutes away from the scheduled time that the crew is scheduled to depart inside the keep-out sphere. We'll follow along with the teams as they give that go.
I hope they get the go. So they're like 200 meters or so away from the ISS. They're outside the protective zone, so to speak, from the ISS until they're given the green light to proceed for docking. So they're in a holding pattern right now. So this is going to be actually interesting to see how this develops. But I didn't know the Starship did that test this morning. It's the 4th one, but I don't know how successful it was. I'm going to have to look into that later. And Elon's got a few of them waiting to be launched. He's got others in production just waiting to go on the launch pad. SpaceX has got their act together. But look what's happening with NASA. I and ULA. Already, SpaceX has had successful launches and docking with the ISS with astronauts. They have a solid record already for doing that. This is the first one with NASA trying. It's not looking so good, but it's the first one, but still.
This is Mission Control Houston. You're getting live views from the station of the Starliner, Butch Wilmore and Sonny Williams inside, manually piloting the Starliner.
Manually.
In a station keeping hold position. Right now, just about 212 meters from the station. Station and Starliner are flying approximately 257 statute miles over the Pacific Ocean, approaching the west coast of Mexico, about to fly over the Midwest of the United States on a northeastern trajectory. In an orbital daytime, you're getting great views from the outside of the station. Teams continuing to analyze the Starliner before going ahead and pressing in to the keep-out sphere. The earliest window to do so is crossing right about now, but we'll wait for that go from both teams concurring to press in and go through those next steps to the 10-meter hold point. We'll get that view of Starliner a lot closer than what we're seeing now. We're attempting right now the second docking window, continuing to look at the Starliner and its systems, the reaction control thrusters that are needed to enable a go to proceed inside the keep-out sphere and ensure safe docking to the International Space Station. The window for that second attempt opens at 12:33 p.m. Central Time. That's, of course,
Starliner Houston C in the box. We'll take auto.
So like 1 hour.
Auto.
The crew manually flying again and station keeping within the hold window inside, right now inside 210 meters. Given the go to switch to auto hold mode, giving Butch and Sonny a break from stick time, holding in that position before proceeding inwards towards the keep-out sphere. Again, we were talking about the windows. 12:33 is the beginning of that window. 1:19 p.m. Central Time is the back end of that window.
Hopefully there'll be a go to go into the keep-out bubble, sphere, as they call it. So there's an imaginary bubble around the ISS that they have to protect it. It's 200 meters or more. So now they're waiting for the go to proceed into.
Flight controllers here in the International Space Station flight controlling, continuing to evaluate steps needed to ensure a go to proceed inside the keep-out sphere, and go ahead and press in for that attempting for docking within the second window. We're following along very closely and coordinating.
Houston. So based on the hot fire test, the T2A2 and S1A1 had satisfactory results. We didn't get a result out of B1A3. So we're going to re-enable T2A2, S1A1, and inhibit B1A3.
We copy all. You're going to inhibit B1A3. The other two, we see one of them back online, and it felt like the rest of them to us. I'm not sure what your data shows, but okay, copy all.
Okay.
These must be
Just read that back. You felt all three.
These must be the individual thrusters
Yes, we felt all three.
that are
Roger.
needed for docking at a close range. I'm assuming and guessing. Marco, don't make me laugh.
And by getting back T2A2 back up enable 1 became full again. And I don't think you switched out of that, but we're still go back up enable 1.
Copy that. Enable 1 on, enable 2 is off. SMRCS.
Roger that.
And I'm sure they have backup systems, you would think.
So again, holding outside the keep-out sphere, Butch Wilmore, Sonny Williams inside the Starliner spacecraft, working hand-in-hand with the ground controllers here, or the flight controllers here in Mission Control Houston, specifically the Starliner flight controller room in the room next door to the International Space Station flight control room. The teams worked together to hot fire some of the reaction control thrusters that went down. Looks like some of the reaction control thrusters, two specifically, performed well, so those will be re-enabled. One did not perform so well, so they're going to go ahead and inhibit that particular thruster. That one's B1A3. Currently analyzing the configuration before pressing in. The flight control team here in Mission Control Houston, the International Space Station flight control team, working hand in hand to make sure that we are jointly operating within the flight constraints needed to press inside the keep-out sphere. Flight Director Vincent LaCourte here in the International Space Station flight control room, working hand in hand with Ed Van Cise, the flight director in Starliner Mission Control. We're continuing to follow along here in the International Space Station flight control room. Let's go ahead and head over to the White flight control room with the Starliner teams following along.
Starliner,
Leah
you
and Jim.
go to recover. It's an orb traj tab stop 8 for recover.
Stop 8, recover. Here we go.
So pretty much is what I said about the thrusters.
Thanks, Gary, and welcome back to the White Flight Control Room here at Johnson Space Center. Yes, we are monitoring Starliner here in this room, all teams continuing to analyze the data from the recent tests. And as you can see, Starliner in this live view from the International Space Station, it is essentially parked at about 200 meters away from the station. Again, we are waiting to move into the keep-out sphere, that 200-meter radius around the space station. We are targeting the next docking window that opens at 12:33 p.m. Central Time. Now we are in another tracking and data relay satellite system handover. We expect to regain those visuals shortly. Meanwhile, here's another good look at the teams in Mission Control.
So they're in a blackout area now. But I believe it's in about 50 minutes the window opens for docking. So they got a little time to get this all sorted before they possibly make an attempt to dock. But it's been glitchy, let's just say the least. And there's a lot. Earlier, it looked really tense. Mission control. And now they seem to be just chilling out and waiting. So we'll see what happens. But like I said earlier, it's about what happened with Starship this morning and the test, which I'm going to see if there's a video of it. We were watching it earlier. It was on space.com. But I'm going to see. If they're. Oh shit, it successfully completes re-entry and splashdown. That's a big step. Oh, we got to watch this. Let's put the volume on. This is from Wall Street Journal. So I'm going to have to mute this audio. And we're going to unmute it.
Vehicle is pitching downrange.
This was this morning. This was this morning.
We have the docking. Vehicle is pitching downrange.
All right, 30 seconds into flight. The rumbles are still building here in the Raptor's nest. We're seeing 32 out of 33 engines lit on the Super Heavy right now. Coming up shortly is going to be max Q, that maximum aerodynamic pressure as we go uphill on the vehicle.
Booster engine cut off. Ship ignition. Stage separation confirmed.
Boost back burn, start up.
Acquisition Houston.
I seen that, the one bad engine. I saw that.
Hot stage confirmed. Ship under its own power. Booster boosting back. Looks like all 13 are lit. Kate, we got a booster on the way back to the Gulf and a ship on the way to space.
Boost back burn, shut down.
Heard confirmation there of good boost back burn shutdown.
Stage 2 tank pressures are nominal.
Lots of excitement. So right here, this is our view of the jettisoned hot stage. As we mentioned, this is a temporary fix to help reduce the weight of the booster. So we have the super heavy booster. Future iterations will have a lighter weight integrated hot stage structure that won't need to be jettisoned.
This is a great view. On your left-hand side is three views from the booster, and your right-hand side a view from the ship. And you can see those grid fins on your left-hand screen rotating and turning to guide the booster.
Wow.
And there's
Wow.
that landing burn. That landing burn just began, and you can see the water below. And we have splashdown. What an incredible sight! Congratulations to the SpaceX team!
Yeah, as you can see with that view on your screen again, high def brought to us by Starlink. We can see the plasma beginning to build as the ship is getting closer to the Earth's atmosphere. Now, let's talk a little bit about how Starship will survive re-entry, hopefully, and control itself.
Exactly. We've been talking about this entire flight test. There's 18,000 hexagonal ceramic tiles surrounding the bottom portion or the Earth-facing side of the ship.
Through 100 kilometers altitude, good altitude for entry.
Great call-outs there. Now, during atmospheric re-entry, the vehicle is going to see temperatures as high as 2,600 degrees Fahrenheit or over 1,400 degrees Celsius. So those tiles are there to help protect the vehicle from this extreme heat.
Wow. Wow.
External temperatures are starting to come down.
Again,
Holy sh.
this camera view is looking right at one of the forward flaps. And we're strategically putting some cameras around the vehicle to just look at the different
Very important,
areas.
so they know how to fix this.
Ooh, looks like we got the flap starting to come apart a little.
Yeah, it does appear that we have a little bit of burn through there. We can see pieces of the vehicle flying off. What a show it has been. It's
That's
been like
outrageous.
watching Interstellar or something.
This is wild to see this, but the ship is still coming down, which is incredible to see.
Look
How
at it. It's
far can
falling
it go?
apart.
That is the question.
Keep your eye on the corner. We're at 54 kilometers right now.
The good news is we still got, looks like that camera lens just cracked. It's safe to say ship's getting a little beat up, but that's to be expected on a test flight. We are still learning how to improve the ship for total survival and recovery of the high heat reentry.
I'm honestly impressed that we're still getting this live view despite how much debris is coming off of this flap right now.
The fact that we've got it is good news. We wish we could see more, but we'll take it.
Starship is at 2 kilometers altitude, terminal velocity.
Landing beam startup for Starship.
All right, good news there.
Nominal chamber pressure.
Landing board startup.
This one's holding up.
Starship is in landing burn.
Landing burn shutdown.
The landing burn shutdown was commanded.
All right. So obviously, further testing, that's what it's all about. You expect to see
Crowd is
something
getting
like that.
excited behind us. We're here in front of Mission Control Center.
That's to be expected. That's the whole point of testing. To analyze areas that need to be improved. So they will definitely be on that before the next launch attempt. So it's crucial that they do that. It's so important because now they're going to focus on that area where it was compromised, and they'll work on it and see what happens during the next launch. That's how it works. You learn from it, like she said, and you improve on it, the design. So they'll be on that before the next one. So hopefully, but the point is it got to a splashdown point, which is excellent. That's what they wanted. They wanted that re-entry. They wanted that splashdown, regardless of the issues that happened on the way down. That is a critical moment just to get it to splash down. And I guess it was the Pacific. Exactly. They got to know. They got to know about all the weak points. So that's really good. And the thing is, the emphasis was getting it just to re-enter, because that was the next goal, so to speak, re-entry. And now they'll work on other things. But eventually, and this is going to be the big one, re-entry and landing without exploding, because that's the issue Starship has been having badly. It's, yeah, you can get it up and you can get it down, but can you land it safely without exploding? Because they had so many accidents on the pad with that thing coming down and just boom. Yeah, but again, now they got to get it to land, and they're going to have to pass some serious safety inspections and everything else before they put a crew or anything on it. So for that's going to be the big one, because you can get it up in space, you can get it into orbit, and you can get it to re-enter. The point is getting it to land safely. That's going to be the big test. So we'll see. We'll see how that works out. But if you've seen the tests of Starship in Texas, there was a lot of explosions, and they're not going to have, I mean, they probably will build a facility with all that water, the hoses putting out the fire when it comes down, because that was a big part of it. But it's going to be really interesting to see that land safely after going into orbit and coming back down. That's the big one. So we'll see how that works out. But they're definitely on the right trajectory for testing. And a lot better than what's going on here with good old NASA. That's for sure. Because look at all the issues they're dealing with. SpaceX has been highly successful in comparison to this over budget administration. So we'll see what happens with this. And a lot of it is all riding on Artemis. It's all about building up for Artemis 2 and 3. Especially landing on the moon. Oof, with astronauts. So there's a lot still to go. But this is it's actually an excellent step forward, so to speak, for Starship and SpaceX. Now, this is the issue right now. The window opens up soon, a half hour or so. Now, will they go? Who knows? But I'm sure those two astronauts are anxiously awaiting to see if they get the green light to proceed for docking. So we'll see what happens with that. But I'm sure there'll be a big sigh of relief once they get on board I.S.S. That's for sure. Because this has not been a easy, enjoyable flight for them, for the two of them. I'm sure they're very uneasy right now and trying to keep their composure. But they have to be anxious, nervous, apprehensive, everything you can imagine what they're going through right now on that Starliner. So we'll see what happens. He's actually doing really good. He's doing better. Ronald is definitely doing better. So my A1C went from 6.9, I got my blood results this morning, to 6.1. And I am pretty much very close to being completely normal again. With all the results of the blood and the urine test, I was shocked how amazing my results were. My doctor's gonna flip out because I already seen the results. I cannot believe I went from 6.9 to 6.1. Incredible. Incredible. And there were only 2 red areas, and it's A1C until I get to under 5.7, and this other one which is going down, and those were the only 2 reds. And I was like, everything else was green. I was like, yes, yes. Let me see if I could pull it up again while we await to see what they're gonna do. I gotta log in. Results, here we go. I should look at my last one. Well, no, we can see based on the graph. Okay, here we go. So this is the latest. Yesterday's blood work. So the A1C is now 6.1. But look at this over time. The graph. Look how high I was. And I was 11 when I had to go to the hospital in August. I was 11. Over here, this is before January. Look at this. January 2nd, 9.6. I was 11 when I was in the hospital. Then I went down to 7.3. And then I went down to 6.9, should be. 6.9, and now 6.1. Now this one also is still elevated. I've got to get this down, but I've been doing it over time. You could see the graph over here was 90, then 83, I think, 87. And now, yesterday, 73. I need to be at 60. So I'm making my way there. This is the only flags. Everything else is green. So I'm doing remarkable. Nothing else flagged. Nothing. Kidney, liver, pancreas, everything. Red blood cell, white blood cell, everything is in the green. So is dieting and exercise working? You better believe it. Shrek Green, they're still planning for next year for Artemis 2, but I think it's going to get delayed to 2026 because everything is delayed. We'll be lucky to see Artemis 2 go up in 2025. We'll be lucky. I don't think it's going to happen, but we'll see. Yeah, it was normal when I was younger. Being obese and fat and overweight doesn't help. When I was 134 pounds and full of muscle, yeah, I was healthy. That's different than now. But that's excellent. My doctor's going to go nuts when he sees that. Because it's great. And I see the results. He's not going to see them until he goes on his computer, looks at the blood results, and when I'm there and goes through it, Doc, I already seen them. I know where it is. I know what my flags are. And there's not many of them. Because I'm still going down, but I'm not at the green threshold yet. In 3 months, when I get another blood work done, I should be in the green across the board. Because I'm not going to stop dieting. I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing. So, and the great thing is, even with Pine Bush and all the cooking and the madness, I was able to contain myself from eating all the food that I cooked for everybody else. And I didn't touch it too much. I stayed away from it. And they all had a great time eating twice, 3 times. I didn't touch it. Very little. So, doing good. All right, the audio is on. So obviously they're waiting. To see if there's a go. I'm gonna check the weather. Because they're saying we may have thunderstorms here this afternoon. It's only 75. There is a cold front coming through soon. Oh my gosh. At least one person is dead after tornado sweeps through DC suburbs. Wow. See, it says here, SpaceX Starship reaches new heights in latest launch. And the West is going to have a serious heat wave. A heat dome. It's going to be really hot out west again. And I'm going to look at my radar. So, yep, the storms are starting to pop up to my west. This is that little cold front coming through. That is a beautiful view. But I want to see what's going on here. The one thing I don't like is the way this takes a while to do the future model. Whenever it gets past the now, it has to load a few times to see where they're predicting, the models are predicting where the storms are going to go. So there's a definite line developing to the west. But see, when it does that. And that's a low pressure way up in Canada. So you could see there's a front to the west in Pennsylvania, but this doesn't look impressive right now for development. But this low is way up here. I mean, really way up in Canada. You look for the rotation, it's probably somewhere in here, affecting the weather all the way down here. Wow, that's a nice view. And again, the audio is on. Well, let's double check. Maybe it's not, because I muted it for Starship.
Station is getting a good view of Starliner with the lighting coming from that direction. We're waiting for the Earth to spin a little bit more, sun to move relatively, so Starliner gets a good set of lighting on station, and we'll continue the approach towards the No. 24 docking port.
From Shrek to Kermit. That's funny. Oh my God. Oh man. That was a great movie. The original, Planet of the Apes. Especially the ending. That was I don't want to, if nobody's ever seen it, I really suggest you see the original. Yeah, it looks like, you're right, Mike. It looks like it's pushing up to the north. And they don't look as strong as they were predicted. That is one heck of a view, though. It almost kind of reminds me, looking a little bit, not much, the Millennium Falcon. In a weird way. Looking at it from the top. Like, the Millennium is going that way or that way, or whatever. Hopefully they'll get this docked. It's getting warm in here. That's for sure. See, it's really humid. You could feel that humidity until the cold front comes through. It's very humid. Even though it's not that warm, it's super moist in the atmosphere. The dew points must be in the 60s.
Starliner nearing the 20-meter point, currently at about 22 meters away, still progressing at 0.05 meters per second. From Starliner's view, front of station is still fairly dark, using mostly the LiDAR sensor for feature tracking on the front of the docking, No. 4 docking port. Currently, you can see Starliner's NASA docking system, NDS. Docking cover has been open for a long period of flight. Currently, the
look at the shadow.
The docking ring on the soft capture system is retracted. It's the inner metal ring on the front of NDS with the 3 pedals sticking out from it. Once we hit the 10-meter docking hold point, Starliner will extend the soft capture system, which is a series of motor-controlled arms.
Because you can see the ocean, it might be more like Long Island. They're on the coast.
Once we start moving forward after the 10-meter hold point,
so somehow
those arms will remain extended.
Along Jersey,
Starliner will approach
Long Island, where you can see
the International Docking Adapter.
I'm assuming.
Upon contact, there are several spring-loaded latches
you can see across the Hudson
that will attach Starliner to station. Then, several minutes later, the arms on that soft capture system will retract.
Oh, that looks cool.
From there, there are several hooks that will securely latch Starliner onto that docking port. And then from there, we will have hard capture. Right now, we're currently coming up on 16 meters away.
And again, we anticipate holding at that 10-meter hold point. This is a built-in hold, and we may wait here until we get ideal lighting. The International Space Station and Starliner are flying over Algeria and about to cross into an orbital nighttime. Again, we see about 16 sunrises and sunsets each day when traveling at orbital velocity. That's 17,500 miles per hour. In terms of relative velocity right now, Starliner is traveling at about 0.05 meters per second. And to translate that, that's about 1/10 of a mile an hour as it moves in toward the International Space Station.
That is so cool. I'm going to take my camera off. Wow. So what did they say? A hold by when they get to within 10 meters?
10-meter hold confirmed.
Yep. There it is.
Houston copies, and Starliner, we're expecting 6-minute lighting hold before NDS configures for docking.
Yep. So they're about 30 feet away, and they're waiting for the light.
Station Houston on the Big Loop. Starliner's at the 10-meter hold point. I.S.S. crew perform 1.106, step 1.2.
There we go.
Station copies on the Big Loop. Executing 1.2 of 1.106. I.S.S. crew ready for final approach.
Houston copies.
Starliner Houston, got your fill-ins for your step 31. The maneuver to target align will be at 17:27:40. Expect final approach at 17:30. We're going to have 47 minutes of margin.
Okay, 17:27:40 and final approach 17:30. We don't know if you said 40 or 00.
It was going to be, the time for final approach 17:30:00 with 47 minutes of margin. 47.
Okay, 00 with 47 minutes of margin. Copy.
And what did they say about 6 minutes before the light engulfs it? You could see it happening right now.
Starliner holding steady in the 10-meter hold point. Currently about 3 minutes and 50 seconds away until the for the first phase of the 10-meter hold. We're waiting for better lighting for Starliner's cameras. In the second phase of the 10-meter hold, the NASA docking system will continue to finish its initialization.
Some nice views.
Starliner appears suspended in space as it and the International Space Station continue traveling at over 17,000 miles per hour. And again, we are anticipating an orbital nighttime here shortly. We are at the 10-meter hold point. This is a built-in hold for all arrivals. And we will continue holding here until we get the lighting that the teams are looking for to continue to press in towards that Node 2 forward port.
It would be nice to hear from the astronauts from time to time, too, how they're doing, their status.
With this close-up view, you can actually get a pretty good view of what the Vesta cameras look like and where they are. Those are the two black rectangular shapes in the upper right and bottom left of that front docking port area. There's also an additional camera offset to the left, just above the orange data connection. Those cameras are spread out in different locations to help better track different features on the front of the International Docking Adapter.
Uh-oh.
And we are again in a satellite handover with the International Space Station. Station uses the tracking and data relay satellite systems, and we expect to regain visual communication shortly. However, we will still be at that 10-meter hold point.
Okay. Can we do the handover? Yeah. It seems like they got some interesting images on their screens.
Again, the docking window opens at 12:33 p.m. Central Time. And we are in an automated piloting for the Starliner spacecraft, so Butch and Sunny are able to continue monitoring its approach once we resume that, but they will not be needed to take manual control and fly in and dock the spacecraft. That capability does exist, and we tested some of that manual piloting earlier in the flight.
Switch over now. The live feed is back. Go back.
So we just hit 10-meter hold 2. We're putting step 32 in work, if you're ready.
We are ready.
Again, Houston.
We are ready.
Good. So far, so good.
Okay, here goes, step 32.
Here we go. Roger.
All right, NDS latch NEA switch is in enable.
Roger.
Would be nice if they could put up those cameras again, because obviously they can see it.
Starliner reactivating Mustang.
They're actually going by Central Time, Andy.
Okay.
For us here. So I think they said at the 32, which is 9 minutes away. 12:32. It's 1:23 here, because we're Eastern. This is all based Central Time. A lot of people here in the States do not use GMT. The Greenwich means. The hell is that? Oh, they're in the dock. That's right. They're in the dock area now.
Continuing to hold at the 10-meter point while the NASA docking system extends the docking ring, or the soft capture ring, I should say. Now less than 10 minutes away from the opening of the next docking window. Again, that coming at 12:33 p.m. Central Time.
infrared, FLIR. It's pretty cool. Can you imagine though really having to... That's because you need to eat before you do that. I made coffee earlier. It's flat. I've had that bottle of soda there for 3 days. Ew! I hate flat soda. Ugh. That was nasty. Gonna have to put the air on. It's getting warm in here. It's a cloudy day. So even right now, I'm producing 1.8 kilowatts. I'm exporting 1.1. I'm consuming 0.7. So even on a cloudy day, I'm still producing out.
Starliner, Houston on a big loop. NDS and entry cover are configured for docking.
I'm still giving out credits, which I spoke to my solar company yesterday.
Starliner copies. We're ready.
I don't get paid. These credits go to the winter months when there's less sun.
Capcom Neil Nagata and Commander Butch Wilmore both confirming that they see NDS ready for docking. We're currently sitting about 1 minute 55 seconds away from the final approach ignition.
Yep.
During the last 10 meters, you'll see Starliner approach at a very slow rate, similar to the last 50 meters that we saw.
I'm leasing.
Coming
so
in
it's
the approach corridor.
zero cost. I pay $125 a month. That's it. $125 a month.
The view on the right of your screen in the larger box, that's from Starliner's Vesta cameras. This helps Starliner align with the International Space Station. Again, we are docking to the Node 2.
Electric kilowatt use power coming from the utilities is going, it's skyrocketing. Across the country, they're just charging more per kilowatt. Not only that, I get my energy to the electric company from a solar farm, which they told me don't cancel that. So I'm paying 12 cents locked in for life coming from the solar production farm. So if I need anything from the electric company, I'm locked in with that. Right now, I think they're charging 18 cents, and it's going up per kilowatt from the utility companies. New York City charges like almost 30 cents per kilowatt. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine their electric bill? So I'm doing great. Doing great.
Starliner Houston on the big loop. You are go to command final approach with tap stop 4 OFM trigger next.
Here we go.
Here comes the safe, putting in the trigger next. Tap stop 4.
Station Houston on the big loop. For I.S.S. crew, perform 1.106 steps, 1.3 and 1.4.
Let me see.
Station copies. executing 1.3, 1.4, 1.6.
Let me see if I can access it. Because obviously personal information.
And the Starliner crew have gotten the authority to proceed for the final approach. Starliner's currently at just over 9 meters away, approaching at about 0.05 meters per second, or 5 centimeters per second, towards the known 2 forward docking port.
I hope it doesn't open up in that window.
Again, NASA astronauts Butch Wilmore, the commander, and Sonny Williams, the pilot, on the crew flight test today. This is an autonomous docking, meaning they are monitoring from inside Starliner, but the spacecraft is currently flying itself.
Yeah, I'm going to try to download the invoice, but got to be careful with the personal information. Yeah, I think I better just screenshot it.
Starliner now less than 7 meters away from the International Space Station. All good calls on the ground.
So yeah, Marco.
Estimated time of contact is 2 minutes.
Here it goes. I screenshotted it. That's what I'm paying per month for my panels.
Now approximately 5 meters.
That's the I screenshotted what I could show. So yeah, I usually pay $250 to $300 a month for electricity. It's a big difference. Now I do got to pay a $15 connection fee to connect to the utility company. Everything is ridiculous. We should be fighting to get completely off the grid.
And Starliner passing through 4 meters.
It's BS. Wow, look at this.
Now less than 3 meters away from the International Space Station. Good performance calls coming from teams in mission control.
You would think there's a camera from inside, from the I.S.S. inside that ring.
Starliner at 1.5 meters away, currently about
I like this angle, but I would like to see
5
it
seconds from docking.
closing in as it approaches. Which they'll go to that view next when it's pressurized, and they can have them come in, but
0.5 meters.
Look at this. Nice. Oh. I guess he has to grab it and bring it in.
Contact capture.
Catch.
We see the same.
At 12:34 p.m. Central Time above the southern Indian Ocean, we have confirmation of contact and capture of NASA's Boeing crew flight test and Starliner aboard the International Space Station. Butch and Sonny have made their arrival.
Nice. I don't hear no clapping or screaming or shouting. Capcom. Reminds me of a video game. Engage tractor beam. Oh my gosh. See, they got the angles up on the screen.
Starliner's soft capture system has finished attenuating any motion after initial capture. Next step for the NASA docking system is to retract its extension arms, allow the hooks on the hard capture system to attach to the docking port on the Node 2 forward international docking adapter.
And with the arrival of Starliner, again, that coming at 12:34 p.m. Central Time, we have 2 American crewed spacecraft aboard the International Space Station.
Nice. Marco. This takes a minute. Actually, it takes more than a minute to secure it. Pressure. And then they get the welcoming on board. See, SpaceX, that's one thing they tell you. It wouldn't be like dead air like this. They would be telling you what happens next. They get into the specific details, what their mission is on board the ISS, who's on the ISS to greet them when they come on board. You know, they go into the details. This is pretty pathetic in that way. To me, at least. My opinion. They should be getting into the...
And with contact and capture of the Starliner spacecraft, we are now securing the spacecraft to that Node 2 forward port. First step in that is ring retraction of the NASA docking system soft capture ring. Once that's complete, there are 12 hooks that will need to drive and more firmly secure the spacecraft. Those will happen in 2 sets of 6. This takes anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes after the spacecraft arriving to the International Space Station.
So you're looking at another half hour before it's secured. Then there's the pressurization. So this might be an hour. So it's just really pretty much I'm going to mute the feed because this is a sit back and wait until they securely lock it into place. What I'm going to do now is check what's going on in the country for the weather. We're at radar Omega. Let's see what's going on. See if there's any alerts going on. 7 alerts. Those are severe thunderstorm in these colors. All in Georgia. So it looks like Georgia's where the activity is happening right now. They don't look too impressive on the radar. So this seems to be the area right now for development. Let's see which way they're moving. Northeast, east, northeast, pretty much northeast. They're moving east-northeast. And heading into possibly South Carolina eventually. They don't look impressive. Let me look at the radar up here. All right, most of the storms development is going to be up to the north. There's a couple of to the south in Pennsylvania, but most of these are going to the north of my location. So it doesn't look to be too bad as far as the weather's concerned. Doesn't look to be too bad at all. Georgia's probably rainfall warning. It's got to be down in Georgia. No. Where is this? Way up here. Wow. It's up in Canada. So not so bad. Weather doesn't look too bad. I know, right? I'd be dying to get out of there. Marco, I'd be like, get me out of here, please. It's been one heck of a trip. Busy day in Texas today, between SpaceX and this. Let's check this now. Thankfully, it looks good. Nothing crazy. All is quiet in the Atlantic. It's very early in the hurricane season now. Just started. I don't like that. Okay, we have a system developing. Not good. But these models are way out, so I don't trust them. Oh my God, don't even show that already. Holy shit. Well, the American model in 2 weeks is showing, but I don't trust it. I'm saying it right now. I don't trust it. Is showing this in the Gulf. This is what the American is showing in 2 weeks. I do not trust it. I don't trust it 5 days out. I'm just saying this is a long-range model. But already they're starting to show up. This could be a very active hurricane season. I'm going to see what the Euro is showing. Okay, the Euro is not even showing anything. So that just tells you how far off they are. The Euro doesn't even have anything there. Well, let's not start this shit so early in the year, please. We'll see how the models look a week from now. But that right there, already. But it's 10 days, 12 days out. You cannot trust a model that far out. You just can't. But now it's time to start paying attention to this. Because the Gulf, Atlantic is way above normal sea temperatures. Not good. Can we hear them now? Did I mute it? I don't think I did. No. So I have the audio on. There's just nothing coming through right now. It's like trying to read lips. Oh my. What is he saying?
Bringing you live views from here in the International Space Station Flight Control Room. Flight Director Vincent LaCourte talking with the flight control team. We're all waiting for the hard capture of Starliner to the International Space Station. Again, soft capture confirmed at 12:34 p.m. Central Time. We're in a short handover period, so we do not quite have live views from the International Space Station. Should hopefully be regaining those shortly to show you some live views of the spacecraft, the two spacecraft docked together, International Space Station and the Starliner.
He looks like an actor. I just can't remember his name. The guy on the right, he looks like an actor. He was a popular actor. He's no longer alive, but he looks like him a lot. Oh my God.
Fellow Flight Director T.J. Creamer was just passing behind Vincent LaCourte and Diana Trujillo. Lots of team members here in Mission Control Houston following along through the steps after docking the Starliner to the International Space Station.
They took that from something else, Genghis. If you remember, if you ever seen 2010 Space Odyssey, it was a Russian and United States joint mission to check out whatever happened to Hal and the craft. And there was tension on Earth between Russia and the United States, and it reflected on board. So it's kind of a similar vibe, it sounds like. While stuff is going crazy on Earth, the tensions are flaring up between the two crews. Remember that? And then at one point they told them they had to leave the Russian vessel to go back on. I forgot the name of the spacecraft in the movie, but they all had to go back. And then Roy Scheider's character said, "Screw that, we're coming back." And then they put the two vessels together to escape velocity. If you remember that movie, it wasn't too bad. 2010, it wasn't too bad.
Trying to limit the vibrations during dynamic operations of docking two spacecraft together at 17,500 miles an hour.
The next movie I see probably in the theater is Beetlejuice in September. Because I love the original. And from what I'm reading about it, they say Michael Keaton went nuts with the character. Like he was over the top. They say they're very pleased. Because you see how sequels don't usually work well. They just don't. But I think this one, because Ghostbusters Afterlife was so bad. The new one, whatever, not Afterlife, the newest one. Frozen, whatever it was. I seen it in the movie. I was disgusted how bad it was. It was really bad. To me, at least. Exactly, Genghis. There you go.
For those just tuning in, we do have a contact and soft capture of the Starliner spacecraft to the International Space Station. Butch Wilmore, Sonny Williams, currently at the forward end of the space station inside the Starliner spacecraft. teams here in Mission Control Houston, the International Space Station Flight Control Team working hand in hand with Starliner Flight Control right down the hall here at the Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas. The teams are now working through carefully choreographed procedures to ensure a hard docking to the International Space Station. After soft capture is confirmed, there is a series of very critical steps.
Oh my God, we'll be here for an hour. They just got to secure it. This is going to take time. Have you ever seen that movie, 2010, Genghis? It's not bad. I think it's on Netflix, maybe? I think it's on Netflix. If you have Netflix, it's not bad. But what time is it? It's almost 2. But no, it wasn't too bad. I don't even know what movies are coming out this summer. I went over it briefly a few weeks ago, but nothing really caught my attention for this year. It's not so good. Yeah, you should watch it again. I'm going to do a quick check while we wait for them to secure this docking, because I really want to watch when they open the hatch and they come in, because that's always a cool moment when they finally board the I.S.S. Let's see. I won't see that. Another slasher flick. Animation. No way. Bad Boys, no. Hitman. No. The Watchers. What is that? This one, The Watchers, it comes out Friday, tomorrow. Once upon a time, Mina got lost in a forest. She soon heard an unsettling noise and was beckoned to seek shelter inside a house. Once there, she discovered a group of similarly bewildered folks, all of whom warn her about some mysterious force that visits them every night in order to watch them. But who are they, she wondered, and then, well, she found out. And it's directed by M. Night Shyamalan. I can't say his last name. His daughter did it. Ugh. Oh my God. Pretty bad. A lot of dramas. I'm telling you, it's bad. I'm looking at the movies coming up. I'll put it on the screen while we wait. But, I mean, these aren't worth going to a theater to pay money to go see. They're not. What movie is now these days? Thelma. Trigger warning. These will be so fast available on all the streaming platforms. I heard this might be really good. It's a prequel to A Quiet Place. I heard this one might be really good. Oh, God. Ugh. Does any of these movies look enticing? Because they sure don't to me. Look. This is like, this one reminds me of Silence of the Lambs. She's a Fed investigating a series of killings that may or may not have some occult leanings. All right, so they put in a little occult edge to it, but it's so been done and redundant. There's no originality anymore. This must be about the prison. Sing Sing. Yep. Touch. Really? What the hell is that? Twisters. Okay. Now that might be interesting if you're into those kind of movies. I do like the Deadpool movies. And to see him coming back to do Wolverine, maybe. Oh my God. Look at this. Based on a video game. Oh my gosh. Look how... This is all the summer movies. We're in August. What the hell's that? Ugh. I'm curious about this one too. This one takes place between the first Alien movie and Aliens. That's where this one's supposed to take place, in between the first two movies. This, I don't think I would waste my time. Oh my God, that's it. That's for the summer. That's bad. Not for nothing. That's not impressive. Are you looking forward to Twisters? I mean, again, been there, done it. There's no originality. There's just no originality. It's rehashing old movies and putting a little twist to it, sequels, prequels. It's not impressive to me. Just my opinion, it's not impressive. But if I was desperate to go to a movie, there's a couple maybe. Aliens and Deadpool with Wolverine. Maybe. But that shit's going to be on video before you know it. Max or Prime or Netflix or some other platform. People just wait it out.
If you do, close the hatch and egress and we'll talk. But if things are good, we'll take some photos of the Starliner hatch, and assuming that we're still good, we'll work to get the Starliner hatch opened.
Okay, a copy in 1.302. Say again the step. I've got a...
Not a problem, TC. Step 5.6 is the actual I.S.S. hatch opening.
Okay, that may be another...
TC, we're just giving you a big picture right now, so...
One more thing from Starliner.
Go ahead, Starliner.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
TC, we're not ready for you to get into those steps yet. We'll let you know when we are ready. And one additional point here, we want you to focus those photos and your inspection on the actual window in the hatch.
Roger that. Photos on the actual window hatch.
So we're not sure everyone involved, but certainly great work by Flight and the prop team and whoever else was working to get us attached here. So fantastic. We're proud of you.
And we appreciate that down here, Butch.
They're just happy to be connected to the I.S.S. They're dying to get off that Starliner. They just have to be. Whatever, all the glitches that occurred on the way there.
Starliner Houston, on the big loop, I'm ready for you to pick up in step 1 of 1.302, the CST-100 post-docking leak checks and ingress.
Can you imagine he forgets to shut his mic off, mute it, and we hear the conversation? Because he's directly communicating with them.
Station Houston on the big loop for TC. We're ready for you to perform step 2.1 and 1.302.
Copy and work.
Starliner Houston big loop, just be advised we're deactivating Mustang for your suit doffing activities. I'll let you know when it's off.
Okay, and can you say the procedure one more time? We were screwing around doing other things.
No worries. 1.302, that's the first green block on your activity, on your timeline, CST hatch leak check, and that's step 1 only, please.
F1, CST hatch leak check.
Oh, now comes the celebrations.
Lots happening right now. Congratulations in the Starliner flight control room. Handshakes all around. Crew is carefully awaiting confirmation of hard dock to proceed with the next steps. Of course, opening up the hatches and welcoming Butch and Sonny to the International Space Station. The contact and soft capture was confirmed at 12:34 p.m. Central Time. Teams in the room there in Starliner Mission Control.
The tension just went poof.
Celebrating the arrival of Butch and Sonny. We're hearing on both ends, on the Starliner end and on the International Space Station end, proceeding to open up the hatches. Celebration here in the International Space Station flight control room as well. Excitement all around to welcome Butch and Sonny on board. Again, it'll be a number of hours before we go ahead and open up those hatches. These steps to safely do so are very methodical. We'll follow along and continue our coverage every step of the way and give you updates on estimated times of the hatch opening and the welcome ceremony.
So as you just heard, it's going to be some hours before they open the hatch. I'm not staying here that long. No way. We've seen it. It's secured. The celebratory activity going on in both mission control centers. So now it's going to be a while before they open the hatch itself. So you guys can keep an eye on that. But it's time for I may, because it's very humid, I may just dip in the pool and chill out for a little bit and relax. So Genghis, Michael, Marco, 91 if you're still there, anybody who may be watching, have a great rest of your afternoon, your evening, day, wherever you're at. At least they made it safely to the I.S.S. So everybody have a great day. I'm out of here and maybe be back sometime tonight or tomorrow.